This is BNN, part of BoogleTube. Watch at your own risk. Brought to you by the Four Horsemen of the Nopocalypse. We are the poors and need sponsorship. Seriously, we have plenty of ad space available and have exactly the people that you want to reach as our audience. Welcome to Boogle News! The great zuckening heard round the world. Facebook perma-bans for all. I'm your host, Treadcoat Reason, and with me as usual, my spotter, Benny, co-owner of BoogleTube. Sic semper tyrannis. Oh yeah. You done messed around this time, huh, bucko? Well, we'll see how it works out. What exactly did happen? Well, the new Libertarian Party was deplatformed, along with hundreds of thousands of Dr. Joe Jorgensen supporters and libertarians in general have been permazucked, some losing contacts with friends, family, and businesses, even on all devices, anything associated with phone numbers, MAC addresses, you name it. Without a proper fallback, the movement was scattered by the wind. Apps like MeWe, Keybase, Signal, and sites like Freenet have become our new homes for social media. But what a shit show trying to get back together. I know my little fearsome foursome and a few others, and of course my Freenetters, but we have no idea who the rest of you are. Having said that, if you're Boogaloo, we're down with you, and we'll figure out our OPSEC. So in response, we on the Freenet have decided to go for the Fuck the Zuck meme challenge. What we're doing basically is coming up with our favorite new Zuckerberg memes that we know would either get us permabanned from Facebook or otherwise he would find offensive, and we hope it gets back to him and the group over at Facebook. The rules for the challenge are pretty basic. Find yourself to the Freenet in our main Boogle Nation main page, and once you do, put your best Zuckerberg meme out for judgment and let all see what you have. Now, we know that there are some already out there, and those are fine. If you have something that you'd like to create, that's probably going to be what a winner is. I myself use the Great Russian Potatoes bunghole to make my specific Mark Zuckerberg entry. Having said that, the sky's the limit. Essentially, as long as it's not porn, you're free to do pretty much what you want to on Freenet, and there's no way that a United States subpoena can get anything from an Icelandic server going through Anonymous. In all seriousness, the meme challenge is intended to be a release, as well as allowing you to express yourself in this new space that we are sharing with Anonymous Rogue. Do keep in mind that they are great hosts and they love what we do, so feel free to come join us and participate in the fun. Again, the top 10 memes will be featured in a special edition of Boogle News, and we will credit those who wish to be credited publicly. Now, we all know that Mr. Zuckerberg hates being compared to the fascism that is Nazi. However, nothing embodies a more picturesque version of reality than the ones that you see here. Having said that, we also know that Mr. Zuckerberg is a very vain individual and will eventually find out about this, so I suggest that we do our best to increase his anxiety. About the Freenet. https://freenet.space/BoogleNationMain. When Anonymous Rogue first endorsed Dr. Joe Jorgensen, I reached out to them. They offered not only to teach me in their ways, but in exchange for some of my knowledge, they also granted us as much space as we could want on their uncensored platform. When I say uncensored, this means that violence is okay, sexual content is okay, just no pornography. Due to the nature of Icelandic law and the situation Anonymous has with the United States and other governments, we are fairly safe and protected there. Not any subpoena that we are aware of is able to penetrate such a system. To join us on the Fuck the Zuck challenge from any browser, type https://freenet.space/BoogleNationMain. Next, click or tap register. Then, register your account. Your password needs to be a little bit more complicated than for most sites, but this is of course to protect you. You'll need at least 8 characters, 1 uppercase, 1 lowercase letter, 1 number, and 1 special character.
In other news, Monday evening at approximately 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, reports from city-level and county-level 911 operators began coming on Twitter indicating a large-scale outage, the cause of which is believed to be a malware attack on the Microsoft 365 cloud servers that house the 911 system. Many states from Nevada all the way till Pennsylvania, including all the states in between from Arizona to Minnesota, also including Delaware. While it is unclear who the attackers were at this time, there were no ransom demands, and it appears that only copies of information were made. In follow-up to last week's video, with no competing voice against productions like Cuties, those of us against these types of productions currently have no voice. This has led to an outcry against the companies that produce them. As a result, these corporations are losing subscribers and the public trust. Please sign our Nopocalypse Now petition on change.org, asking Netflix for the chance to offer an opposing point of view and offering them the opportunity to quell their dissenters by this show of good faith. I want to take a minute to talk to you about bointing. To boint or not to boint? That is the question. While I understand that ultimately no one has a right to tell you what you can and can't do with your own body and your own property, and I understand that some of you use it as a way of verifying people and maintaining OPSEC, what you all need to realize is bointing at your penis really doesn't prove anything except your low regard for your ability to have children, and that there are much better ways of maintaining OPSEC. The next time you are tempted to boint at penis, I want you to take a moment and think about the way it reflects on this movement, and realize that it puts those of us who have accepted the burden of facing front in the awkward position of having to explain that crud to journalists and the public, when we already have other public image problems to deal with. By not investing in our own message, the mainstream media entirely controls the narrative. While we can take some pride that Facebook had to pay millions of dollars to solve a problem we created with no money, we may have lost connections that may never be fully regained. Considering how few our allies are, we cannot afford to make the same mistake twice. We need to fight with unity and purpose. We are all equally valued. Though someone must lead, someone has to fight on the media front, or else we have no voice in the narrative. There should be Boogle media in every form, everywhere, all of the time. For us, by us. What's more important to you? Winning hearts and minds to this movement, or shooting your genitals off? For those of you out there that put out a blog, podcast, YouTube videos, or the like, we thank you and hope that you get the support you need. For those who don't want to have to deal with the possibility of being smeared by the media, doxxed, arrested, put in psychiatric care, potentially red flagged, or some other awful unknown fate, we understand. Having said that, unless someone does it, then no one does this. Huge thanks again to Mike Dunn. So the next time some pedo worshiper has the audacity to call you a racist, remember that truth is only a weapon if you wield it. There are billions of voices saying that all must obey those who demand that you kneel. We ask that you stand, as we stand with you and face down these tyrants. In union, there is strength. You can help us keep up the fight on GoFundMe, PayPal, and Mike Dunn's Patreon, and by signing our movie petition on change.org. Help make it happen. Please watch, like, share, subscribe, and comment. Mike Dunn has a Patreon available. To join, install the Patreon app and search Freedom Booms. You can get special content and collectibles, including a Freedom Cup. Boog Newz is also setting up a Patreon that will include secrets, behind-the-scenes details, in-depth interviews, special artwork, collectibles, and our very own Boog Newz Facebook Permazuck Medal of Honor Award. We thank you for your support and hope to serve you with the very best in entertainment, centered around the beliefs of consent and equality that make us who we are. This episode of Boog Newz brought to you by the Four Horsemen of the Nopocalypse: Benny, Mike Dunn, Main Target, and Treadcoat Reason.
You can't kill an idea, but you can compete, and like it or not, we need to.
Seriously, we are the poors and need sponsorship. We are offering low-cost ads. We do personal messages too. Your company or organization name or other message here.
In closing, Facebook may have tried to bury us, but they didn't know that we are seeds.